All right, everybody, welcome to Bengals Week. We have a great show lined up for you today. We're going to talk the storylines early in the week ahead of spending time with some folks around the Bengals that cover them, just what we're thinking about early in the week as the focus shifts to week one, about what the Browns have to do, what sort of dictates the outcome of the game, all the above. So we got a couple of those to go over with you, and we have some updates from practice, even after what we reported on yesterday's pod, some more updates about how some of the important players on the roster are feeling. So we got a great show today. It's Jake and Brad. Let's get going with Browns Film Breakdown right now. Welcome in, everybody. Browns Film Breakdown is live. It's Jake and Brad. We're here to talk the first portions of Browns and Bengals and week one and all of it. The college slate from week one is finishing up as we're recording. TCU is giving North Carolina hell. Bill Belichick, welcome to college football. I thought it was funny, Brad. He listed the depth chart was empty for folks in the media.
I saw that
up in the box. And I was just thinking about how, and I had tweeted this out, how far Bill Belichick pushed the rules in the NFL and in college where it's even more loose. Like, I mean, the injury reporting in college is enough to drive you crazy. If you're someone who gambles on it or you play college fantasy football, the reporting of it is so bad. And you're not required to do much of anything. It's usually conference by conference on some of these rules. Like I know the Big Ten wants to get better about it.
They're trying to.
It's the Wild West out here, man. And Belichick is going to take it to the extreme.
All blank.
At least he listed positions. That's nice of him, right?
I thought it was hilarious. Absolutely
Offensive coordinator, Freddie Kitchens. Inside linebacker coach, Jamie Collins. And who do we have? Special teams coaches, somebody else familiar whose name I'm forgetting at this moment, but there's this is the familiar Good Old Boys network. Obviously, his son is
Jamie Collins. I didn't know that. That's crazy.
Yeah, Jamie Collins is the inside linebacker coach. So it is pretty funny. I got it in front of me here. There we go. So special teams is Mike Prefer. There you go.
No.
That sounds familiar, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, that's it. That's the group. There's his coaching staff, but it's not going well. Say that. It's not going well. Then we don't feel sorry for it. He walked into that. He could have been patient, could have done something different, but he chose that route.
He's living a different life than he's used to right now. He's trying to live his best life. I'll give him that.
I also saw that ESPN dropped some story about talking to recruits who he was blowing off recruits and being rude to people. And it's this is the part of being, and especially, I even think if Bill was doing this 10 years ago, it was just different. The rules are so wild now, and the flexibility in all of this is so wild that you hear most of the head coaches at the college level talk, and they're like, they don't even get to coach. They're just like figuring out with the program director how to pay, who to keep, who's leaving, managing attitudes, managing people, managing recruits, smiling for camera. Like that was one big thing I remember when Chip Kelly came last year to be the OC, was like, I miss coaching football. I left UCLA because I didn't get to coach football. And that seems to be the case. And it's like, Belichick's ready to step into that, to play, not at a place like Alabama where the recruiting is kind of done for you, or Ohio State, or some of these others. Like North Carolina, we got some cool uniforms. The stadium's kind of nice, but you got to get out and grind to find talent at North Carolina.
I wonder if he thought his name would be enough to bring in some big dogs, and it may be over time, but you also can't be like a disgruntled old curmudgeon treating people like that in a where these kids are more entitled than ever. I sound like an old man saying that, but
no, they do expect that. They be treated a certain kind of way. The world is sort of giving them, they're the focus. Like you recruit. It's a lot less of recruiting, the school recruiting, and more of what can you do for the kid, right? That's the way it's gone, and that's not bad necessarily, but it is a different world to live at. And Bill is I said it with you, I think, on yesterday's show, Brad, where it's Saban couldn't handle the NFL. He came, proved it, didn't like it, didn't want to do it anymore. I wonder if that's going to be the same route for Bill here after a year. Now that contract's set up kind of weird. They're he can get out of it kind of borderline whenever he wants. It's
whenever he wants.
Such a strange hire for North Carolina to go that route. And think it was going to work long term, but we digress away from the Browns. Anyway, like updates around practice that we should hit on that came out after we recorded. We noted who was not there and who was there, some of the injury stuff, but a couple important updates and a couple non-updates from Kevin Stefanski after practice. So we told you that Daniel Oyefusi said that Mahmoud Diabate was not practicing again on Monday, but he actually did. So he said he was back at practice, had his jersey rolled up. So somebody, I don't know, just didn't see him or recognize him with again, they put the media in the corner. You're down in the far corner. You're watching individual drills. Maybe the linebackers were working relatively far away and someone just didn't see it, but he corrected it. And Stefanski had said that Diabate did good work today and also that Posick looks good. So those two are very important for these defense and offense structure. So it is good to hear that they're back out there,
Yeah, absolutely. And I doesn't the press have to leave after like stretching?
Yeah, they get Indy and stretching, like they're there for like 20 minutes and then they get
that's
booted.
it. Yeah. So
they
you
don't
could
get to
see how
watch.
maybe that could happen.
Easily.
Yeah.
And the Browns aren't putting out official injury reports until Wednesday. Then you kind of get a
Nope.
rolling index of injury reports that happen sort of all the time throughout the year. So that'll bring some clarity to it. Newsome reported today that his shoulder's feeling better. In quote, it is feeling amazing, is what he said. It will not be a factor. So he's good to go. I did not hear anything today on Denzel Ward, who hurt his shoulder, I think, early last week. So we'll presume, since he's not reported not being out there, that he is practicing and he's on the right track. So it's a good thing, right? It's a good thing. And then no update from Stefanski directly on Mike Hull with the knee, which now we're kind of like a couple weeks is probably the angle here.
Yeah.
And then, and then, like we said, Sam Kamara will likely be elevated for a few weeks. I think you get 3 total. We'll see if they use all 3. But then Quinshon Judkins, no comment again. Nothing going on there. So Mary Kay speculating. Who knows? But Kevin again with no comment action on that one.
It's a thin line between speculation and reality there.
Continues to happen. And I get it. This is still unprecedented and people want to know when it's going to happen. And we just don't know until the NFL tells us. That's the thing I keep pointing to.
The best reporting you can do, though.
That's right. We also noted in the very valid, never wrong, very honest NFL top 100, Brad, Myles Garrett checks in at 8. So there are 7 players better than him in the league. Maybe the 3 AFC quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Josh, I don't pay attention to it. So some of these guys might have already been named. I'm not even remotely interested in doing the homework. No. I'm just guessing. Lamar, Burrow, Allen, maybe Saquon, maybe Justin Jefferson, maybe Jamar Chase. Who else is there someone defensively? Kyle Hamilton, but I think Hamilton's already been on the list.
Yeah.
Who else is like, what's his name? The kid that won defensive MVP last year, the Surtain. I guess maybe he's above Myles, the other defensive player. I can't
imagine it.
I don't know.
I don't know. I doubt Surtain's higher than 8th. You think?
I don't know. Be. He might. People love him. I'm gonna pay attention now because I want to see who those 7 players in front of him are.
That they feel are. Yeah, that's interesting. The quarterbacks, they should have like a quarterback thing of its own, because it's kind of a convoluted mess when you include quarterbacks, versus defensive players. It's not an equal playing field.
Like Jared Goff was 16th. Like,
come
on, man. What are we doing here?
Yeah.
Here we are. The NFL has the players vote on that, I think, mostly.
Yeah.
So, not that favoritism happens there. Anyway, we got some storylines to get to, and I kind of want to kick off Bengals week, as these are the focus things that we want to hit on. So we're going to do that. Can't wait to. Quick word from our sponsor. We'll be right back. All right, Brad, the first one for me that comes to mind is basically like the hot start stuff. The Bengals know now. Some of this has been driven by, and let me try to put this delicately. Like the Browns last year needed to start well. Their schedule said your first 6 games you need to start hot, and they were bad. What were they come out of it? 1-5, 1-4, and then they got to the gauntlet and it was over. This year starts harder. Now, it doesn't really relent in any huge way, but it does start extremely challenging. And all of that baked in as a trip overseas and the NFC North and et cetera, et cetera. But The Bengals want to start better. They have had their issues in recent years because Burrow had, what do you have, an appendectomy one year in training camp. Then he had another, like, his hand issue that had come up, and then there was maybe a groin or a hamstring. The year they came to Cleveland for those 2 years ago, right? Where they came to Cleveland for week 1, he had some soft tissue injury that was lingering around that as well. So they want to start well, and they're talking about it all the time because they keep digging holes for themselves. And then the Browns obviously need to start well too. This is a wildly important game for them in the division, obviously, but there's just a belief they're not good and they're one of the NFL's worst. And they're trying to prove we actually are better than you all give us credit for. And this is a reminder, and I honestly wish this didn't happen, but it did. The Patriots beat them last year, the Bengals, in Cincinnati week 1, if I recall. Maybe they did go to New England. I can't totally remember where that game was, but it was a really big upset. It was a really big upset. Now, again, Burrow's training camp participation and all of that was really weird because he was coming back from that pretty gruesome hand injury and all of that. And who knows where he was. It's clear by the end of the year, he got back to being Joe Burrow, put together a marvelous year. But they lost that game. Their senses are heightened is what I'm getting at, Brad. There is no, and they played this way in the preseason. They had their guys out there for 3 games. Joe Burrow took a beating against the Commanders, I think. So, like, they know the importance. They're trying to win this game, like, passionately. So there is no sneaking up on them in this one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, slow starts is their bugaboo. Lost 3 openers in a row, including the one to the Browns. So it is very much front of mind. Like, we have to get off to a better start. Cost them several times. So, I don't know what it is with them. You know what I mean? But they're certainly trying to figure out. They're throwing different stuff at it, like a totally different approach this offseason. You know what I mean? Let's play our guys more and all this stuff. So
let's go through it, Brad. They start. So this is 2020. They start 0-3. Well, 2-1. Now, obviously, that year they end up going 4-11 because Burrow tears the ACL. Jamar Chase comes, all the above. Now, the next year, which is, I believe, the Super Bowl year, you got a better start. You got a 3-1 start. They actually pushed it out to, like, I think they got to 6-2, 5-2, 6-2, something like that. That they pushed themselves into a strong start. So 21 is the first year they had a good one, and then last year, 2022, the year that they ended up going 12-4 that year, Brad, they started out 0-2 and then ultimately 2-3. So another bad start for them in that one. 23, they, like you said, 1-3 in their first 4 ball games. Then they rattled off 4 wins in a row and everything was kind of righted at that point. But, like, this is a trend, man. And we know 24, they got themselves in the worst hole that they've been in. They went 1-4 after that OT loss to Baltimore. So they know, hey, when have we had our most success? Sure, they went 12-4 in one of those, but the most success they had was it was a year they went 10-7, but they went to the Super Bowl, but they started the year well. So I just think that this is key. I mean, it's what I'm sure they're talking about. And with the Browns this year and how the Browns come out of the gate, right? You got to think they come out. I mean, if you go 0-1, then you go, here's your next 5 games if you go 0-1.
Yeah.
Just a reminder. I know you folks probably know the schedule, but here's a reminder. You go to Baltimore, you host Green Bay, pretty good team. You travel to Detroit. You get a home game in London against a pretty good Vikings team. And then you go to Pittsburgh, where the Browns just don't have much success at all.
And they're coming off a bye.
That's October 12th. Yeah, that's October 12th. So, like, that's your start. You get Miami at home on the 19th. That's nice. And then you take a road trip over to New England, who's, with Vrabel, going to be better. So this opener is important, man.
It's huge. Important. It's huge. It's probably, it looks like one of the more winnable games in that stretch till after Pittsburgh, right? So it is huge to try to, to get this one for both sides, obviously, but for the Browns, I feel like that what they could be this year is a pretty wide variance for me. And of results. But I do think it's possible that they come out and look like a much better football team than people have given them credit for too. So,
whether they're
cautiously
competitive or not the
optimistic.
rest of the year, like Cincinnati could do this where they could go 1-4 and figure it out
Mhm.
and whatever. The Browns can't start 1 and
They
4.
can't
They they
afford
they
that.
don't have that in them. So the beginning of the year is going to tell a story. There we go.
It is.
All right, Brad, storyline number 2, give it to us.
Al Golden, this defense was brutal last year. Despite Joe Burrow's terrific play, the defense let them down time after time. So Al Golden is the replacement. He comes in from Notre Dame. I was reading a lot about this, and he basically came in, and it's Sean Desai's over there. There's some other trying to think of who else is on the staff over there. On the defensive side of the ball, but I remember Desai's name sticking out. But because didn't he interviewed for the Browns job at one point, right?
He
Yeah.
did. He was a hotter name a
Uh,
few years ago for sure.
with
Yeah,
the
that's one I remember.
yeah, he interviewed for the job that Schwartz got, I believe. But he all these guys came together, and they've all been talking about how Al came in and didn't kind of throw down his philosophy, but rather sat down and listened, and that they have collaborated to make like a new collaboration of a defense that best fits their personnel. So that's kind of the talking point coming out of the defense is like this isn't Al Golden's defense. This is a collaborative effort that they've put together to try to fix this thing. Um, I noticed in like they do like a end of training camp thing where there's like the players each give like their player of the camp or their thing of the camp, and a lot of them were like our whole defense is the league sleeping on our whole defense and all this stuff. So that yeah, I know, right? So I was kind of raising my eyebrows at that. Not much has changed on the back end. It's Cam Taylor-Britt, DJ Turner, Dax Hill, Geno Stone, Jordan Battle. It's the same guys, right? That it's been. Um, and then you've got, their main addition here is Demetrius Knight, draft pick at linebacker. They like him. He is a fun player. And then they got Barrett Carter in the 4th round as well, another linebacker. I think he's from Clemson, right? Maybe. Is that right?
Right. Yeah, no, he
Um,
is. He is. It's
and
a
then
lot of the same like young guys.
yeah.
Like they selected Osai, they selected Shamar Stewart. Now we know finally that pick happened. Miles
Yep.
Murphy. They've gone through Taylor-Britt, Dax Hill. Yeah, you name these guys. I mean, these are all in-house selections, and they have not rendered positive results. So
Geno Stone left for a year and then came back. Went to
yeah,
Baltimore
I
and
mean,
came back.
I'm not saying they can't figure it out. That's not a part of this operation. I mean, Al Golden has been with the Bengals before. He was their linebackers coach for a couple years. So if you recall,
Yeah.
Golden had a nice run with Temple in the late 2010 or late 2000s. Took that success to Miami for the first 5 years of the 2010s. Fell apart in Miami. Then he was like bouncing around. He was the Lions tight ends coach, then their linebackers coach. Then the Bengals in 20 and 21, he was their linebackers coach, takes that, goes to college level, DC at Notre Dame, first with Brian Kelly, then with Marcus Freeman. And then, because I remember he was kind of like floating around as a potential replacement, as a potential hire once Brian Kelly left. So then you get, the year last year. I mean, look, he's been around Cincinnati. They know him. It's a heavy man-to-man approach. It's That's what they did at Notre Dame. They're still doing that at Notre Dame, even with Chris Ash, who's there running that defense now. I don't know. I mean, it could work. The preseason didn't give strong indications when they had their first guys out there.
It didn't.
I mean, the Browns are not rolling in the 1999 Rams here. So this isn't the toughest offense in the world to think they could figure some things out. But I think the thing that's happening is The Browns offense is probably chomping at the bit to prove some people wrong. They think there's a real opportunity here. The Bengals defense is doing the same thing. We believe we're better than people are saying we are, and this is a great opportunity against this offense and Joe Flacco to go do this. Who wins that battle probably wins this game. That's the indication that I would have, Brad.
Statement game on both sides, right? Like they both trying to make a statement and prove a lot of people wrong what they've said about him. And you're right. It ultimately boils down to a huge turning point in whoever wins this game, right? Like does their defense look better? Do they look like they've stated that Al Golden has changed this defense in a way that makes them a lot better? The thing that I can't really get over, Jake, is that they just haven't changed that much personnel-wise.
No. I mean, Anarumo was pretty intricate, and a lot of people liked Lou Anarumo. I mean, he was like a kind of low-key. Yeah, there was this belief he was a low-key head coaching candidate for a while as the Bengals defense was thriving. There was like, look at this stuff Anarumo's doing. And the next few years. And then all of a sudden, they shuffle out a lot of those players who were in that system to start, let go of Jesse Bates, let go of some others, and it's fallen downhill. And I think it's like, okay, can Golden fix it? Not above somebody coming in and proving that the guy before them couldn't get it done. Hell, we saw that when the Joe Woods to Jim Schwartz situation can happen. I just personally don't believe in their talent evaluation and the guys they have. That's where I'm at with it. Can I be wrong? I think I'm in the way of most of the people around the NFL, but if Shamar Stewart's a real dude for them, Dax Hill can figure it out. Cam Taylor-Britt can be more consistent. It doesn't take, you don't have to squint really hard to see that there is some talent there that has gone from the college level to the NFL level, but it doesn't seem like through the start here that much has been maximized. So, yeah.
Weird. They go, Geno Stone goes away and then they bring him back, which I thought was a strange move. I mean, do you like Geno Stone? Like, is that a guy you would want to bring back here? Is that a positive to their defense? And then you mentioned Shamar Stewart. Like, during your draft evaluation, did you see him as a difference maker like this?
No. Geno Stone's fine. I think that they're expecting difference makers to be guys in other positions for them. It's kind of a role player. Their safety success, like I said, when they let Bates go, which is the indication of where they are as a franchise, which is they almost did it with Hendrickson. They can't recognize their best and pay them accordingly. Right. And there was a little belief that we'll be fine without Jesse Bates. We can draft Dax Hill and we can draft Brian Branch and some of these others that they've drafted. And it has not materialized in the same way. So, excuse me, that's not Brian Branch. He's in Detroit. That's Jordan Battle, another Alabama guy. So yeah, man, I don't believe that they're ready yet. Could they be by the end of the year? Sure. But as far as in this game, the Browns will have opportunities. I think they will. Can they capitalize? Too. Remains to be seen. You know what I'm saying? Remains to be seen. Okay. Topic 3 is kind of like when these two teams have been going at each other, there's been a lot of the Bengals wide receivers. Now, this was more when Tyler Boyd was there, but they've since replaced with Yoshivas and some others that they found success with. Like you had noted, this Mitchell Tinsley started to figure some things out, but it's largely going to be Jamar, Yoshivas, and then maybe Charlie Jones and maybe some Mitchell Tinsley. I don't think Jermaine Burton's going to play much of a role. They sort of continue to. He's kind of like, Antonio Callaway, Isaiah Bond, these guys who have troubled college careers, and he hasn't parlayed that into success in the NFL. And he just kind of seems like he's messing up more than finding success. So those are the guys you're dealing with, but it comes down to Jamar and T. Can you cover them? Now, they probably can on the perimeter. Denzel plays those guys as well as anybody. Newsom's had a lot of success covering them, but they're going to find the problem. Where Martin Emerson didn't have a great year last year, he still was okay enough to not be that concerned about like a glaring weakness. They're going to hunt. They're going to try to hunt Jamar. They're going to try to hunt T against Cam, Miles Harden, whoever's down in the slot. Browns didn't go out and do anything about it. They didn't. Claim off waivers for an outside corner is not doing something serious about it. I still didn't see. Did Hilton sign with the Colts? I didn't see that come out officially. I don't know what's going on there, but at this point, we're too far into the process. This is Tuesday of game week. These are their DBs, and it used to be a strength against strength, and like the Bengals guys didn't like the Browns guys, but they respected them, and vice versa. We'll see. I mean, it just comes down to, can the Browns mask themselves? Like, can they protect themselves from getting T and Jamar matched up with the wrong guys? And I'm curious to see how they navigate that, because, those are they're two of the best in the league, and they're game breakers. And then, while I'm not a huge Yoshavas believer, he can make some vertical plays going up and getting the ball. And then the two tight ends that they now kind of are going to put in the passing game, we'll see how ridiculously involved Noah Fant is. But Gesicki had a nice run for them last year. He was a nice player for them. He's more slot receiver than anything else. He's not really an inline guy. He's not a traditional Y, but he has found league-wide success being a big body power slot. And how are the Browns matching up with that? Are they putting a safety down there to play him? Is Hickman playing him? Is somebody like Rayshon Jenkins going to play him? I don't know. That's a huge storyline for this week. How the Browns navigate pass coverage down a stronger third DB that they have traditionally had, at least for the last 3 years.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we know what the Bengals want to do. It's not it's not a huge surprise what they're going to try to do. They're going to try to put 5 guys in routes and let their talent win. And they're going to, as you said, without Emerson there, they're going to, I mean, Chase and Higgins are both going to take snaps out of the slot. And how are the Browns going to combat that, right? Like, what is it? Just, are they going to leave Cam Mitchell there? Are they going to give Cam Mitchell with some help, safety help? How are you going to guard the tight ends? You make a really good point. Delpit was a great tight end eraser at times, but do you want to take him out of coverage to take away Gesicki? Is he that big of a threat? Like, you can justify doing that against like George Kittle in his prime a couple years ago, but can you do that? I mean, do you want to do that against Gesicki? Do you want to live in that world where you're taking him away to do that? I don't know. It's a tough question. I think the veteran safeties, Jenkins, Casey, play a role here somewhat. You get 3 guys. I still think they lean more towards 3 safeties on the field at times, especially against this team. Where I think at times you're going to be trying to cover, 2 tight ends into a route and 3 wide receivers, right? So in doing that,
it
I
just
think your
means more
best
zone.
chance.
It just means more zone, which is not something that they have traditionally done. That just gets them out of their, at least Schwartz, comfort zone. It depends on how much. This is not us understanding how much time they've spent doing that stuff in, training camp settings. I haven't noticed anything incredibly different in the preseason games that makes me sort of question things. So I don't know, Brad. We'll see. I am curious how they alter based on their tradition, because this is a challenging wide receiver matchup,
I wonder, because we've seen Schwartz do this before a little bit, and it's something that around the NFL that teams are trying to kind of do. But like, if you do get Higgins or Chase to one side, do they just go and it's Denzel or it's Greg?
kind of
You just
shadowing stuff. Yeah, I mean,
you just go man over there, and then the rest of the field. You know what I mean?
I do. That's why this is a storyline. This is what we're following. This is the thing to.
Yeah,
we'll be talking about in the first quarter. If you watch the game with us on, assist, which is something we're pumped about, is the ability to watch the game, watch it live with us, but kind of sync up when I'm analyzing, Brad's analyzing based on the game clock we have. So you're not getting anything ruined. But yeah, those will be the things that we're honed in on. We're focused on.
Yeah.
So it's a huge storyline. Are they going to shadow? If they don't shadow, do you trust Cam Mitchell trying to cover these guys? I mean, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
It's the same sort of questions we have about the Bengals secondary as well. So
we'll see the reality of their depth chart. I mean, like, it may be Miles Harden first. I wouldn't be shocked to see him be the first one out there at this point. It seemed like he was getting more reps at the end, but I don't trust him that much either. I like his potential, but it's not like he's there either. Neither guy makes you feel good about what they're going to do in there. So, and I'm sure that Jim and company are aware of this. So how do they combat it, right?
That's the question. That's the question that we'll be hyper fixated on in the first one. Okay, so Yeah, let's close. I think there's one more here. You go ahead, Brad, and then we'll wrap up.
Trenches, baby. How who wins in the trenches? Browns want to run the ball. We don't know if they can run the ball, but like ideally, we don't want to get in a shootout, obviously, with the Bengals, or it's not ideal to do that. And see Joe Flacco throw it 45 times, 35 would be like the cap in a perfect world. Do they get out of that? I don't know, but we've talked a lot about their run game, getting back to what Stefanski does best, and the new offensive line coach and what they've kind of gotten back to. We've seen it supposedly work, or we heard about it supposedly work in scrimmage a little bit with Philly, and but it's never really been tested fully, maybe a couple downs in preseason. This is the test. Like, this is the real test. Can they run the ball? Can they be effective as a run team and get back to like that as a core part of moving the ball up and down the field? Because without it, I think you're in trouble, right? Like they need the run game to be successful this year, and this is a team you should be able to do it against. Basically, if you're going to be successful, you would like to think you can do it against this team some. So that's the major question there in the trenches, and then vice versa for the Bengals. Their other weapon is the other Chase, right? Chase Brown. They want to get him involved. They want to get him involved heavily, whether it's in the short pass game, extended handoffs. They kind of look at it as like, right, or just handing the ball to him.
Yeah.
He is a weapon. They want to get him involved. Can the Browns shut that down? So all of that, as far as both sides of the ball in the trenches will be massive, I think.
Totally agree. Who wins down the middle of the field? Who wins in between the hashes? Are the Browns able to pass protect in predictable pass? Are they able to establish a line of scrimmage? Bengals went out and tried to add more to their defensive tackle room here in the last 24 hours. Ultimately, probably a player the Browns won't see early here, but they're worried about it. It's BJ Hill and a bunch of guys. I don't think any of which are particularly talented. Their edge group, we know who Trey Hendrickson is. He's a problem, but is he ready? Week one ready? The way he's traditionally been remains to be seen, right? Shamar Stewart, late arrival type. Is he ready to make an impact? Miles Murphy's not a concern to me. Hasn't been a concern. Like, how well do the linebacker group? It's a rookie and Knight. It's Logan Wilson. I mean, it just comes down to, like I said, who controls the line of scrimmage for the Browns. I think they have a chance to run it on the Bengals. I think they got a chance to really unleash play action downfield throwing. I mean, it's there. And on the other side, it's the Bengals, how well they protect, right? Like Burrow's getting beat up against the Commanders, we said earlier. The group went out and signed Dalton Risner. They're trying to figure out that offensive line across many positions. Orlando Brown is good, right? But like, he's got weaknesses. Myles Garrett exposes him every time they play. He's the type that does that to really anybody, but it's not going to be some advantage there. And then it's like the Browns have a bunch of really talented guys along that defensive line. How are they handling them? That's going to be it. If the Browns make life hell, they stop the run, they make Burrow's life hell in the pocket, condense it, make it a challenge to get 3.5 seconds to throw downfield, they got a chance. So, yeah, I mean, who wins that side? If the Bengals can run it, can push up 75 to 100 rushing yards, it's hard to win that way. Hard to win that way because they become multifaceted. Then you got to really be concerned from the second level about being quick to the run game. And then you get kind of, pulled forward, and then you're not in those glance and slant windows, those deep end breakers that you need to be underneath to make life hell on Burrow. Like, if you got him hitting end breakers to Higgins and Chase, that's tough. It's really tough because then you can get the run action going, and it's a real problem. I know they're excited about Chase Brown. To your point, I just think that their concern for them is the interior of their defense and the interior of that offense, the offensive line collectively holding up. Yeah. You pay attention, like the Browns signed Tevin Jenkins. There are people who cover the Bengals. Like, when are they going to go out and make some sort of move to bolster the interior O-line? There's concern there. There's concern. Yeah. So the Browns are going to win. They got to win the trenches. That's a storyline for sure.
The last thing I would just comment on, it's not so much a storyline, but Teams know each other very well. You mentioned earlier the kind of the competition, the rivalry between the wide receivers and the cornerbacks, the on-site stuff from the podcast years ago. It's a very they're very familiar, trash talking, with Ward and Chase and those guys go back every year. It's a it's a thing between those two groups. The teams know each other well. The personnel hasn't changed much between either side.
No.
So for me, coaching becomes a major factor, right? Like you can get out coached in one of these divisional games, when the personnel is very familiar to you. So who does a better job preparation this week? Who's better ready to make adjustments on the fly? And I think coaching is a big, big factor here as well.
Couldn't agree more. These teams, like you said, it's now like many years into the Burrow experience, many years into the Lamar experience. These Steelers the same. These groups they know each other, man. They know each other really well. And a lot of these players leave one organization. They kind of find their way to others inside the division. It is dog eat dog, no pun intended, division that if you're not ready to go, they're going to get exposed. So it's a big week, man. It's a really, really big week. Before we split, Brad, tell everybody about the opportunity we got to get in some fun year-long survivor pool contest, stuff like that. Give it to us.
Yeah, stay tuned. Keep an eye in the link below. We'll throw it down there. But we have partnered up with Splash Sports to do a $10 entry NFL Survivor contest, Browns film breakdown. $10. You can enter as many times as you want. Win up to $13,000. $13,500, in the prize pot, depending on how many entries you get. So the more people that enter, the better. Tell your friends.
And what is a survivor pool? You're picking one game every week.
So survivor pool winner. If you've never done it before, it's week one. You just pick. All you have to do is pick a winner, right? Every week, and that keeps you alive to the next week. But you cannot repeat that team. So you got to be strategically kind of look through the schedule. Where do I want to use what teams? You're going to want to pick a team that, can win, but you don't want to have to use later if you're planning on winning the whole thing. Right. So it's a strategy to it. It's a lot of fun. There'll be second chance survivor contests as well for people that lose and stuff like that. But we are doing it with the partner with Splash Sports. Splash Sports is awesome. They're easy to use. It's easy to sign up. Free account. Sign up. Get in there. Be a part of it. It'll be all of us in there, Browns community, all in there doing the NFL Survivor. So look for that link in the description below, and we'll be sending it out on socials over the next couple of days. Get in on the action.
Yeah.
It will be fun for sure.
It'll be a great time. And then so if you're listening to this pod on the website, you'll find all the information on how to be with us for Assist this weekend, which is a cool up-and-coming platform who we are trying to give some notoriety to and prove that it is a valuable tool for game watching parties, that the NFL won't let us watch the same screen game. Like they're against that the way some other leagues, the baseball world and basketball world, are a little more open to that, but the NFL has not been. Maybe that changes over time. I don't know. But this is also a really cool alternative that doesn't, like if you're watching it on YouTube, it can get spoiled because certain, like the viewer could be out in front of you or the chat could be out in front of you. Like this doesn't let that happen. So as long as the Brad and I put in what time it is on our scoreboard, it'll link up with what you are watching as well. So I think it's got a chance to be cool and unique for you, and a way to watch the game with a little analysis tied to it simultaneous. So we're excited about it. Some great things going on. The link in the description of this podcast will have Splash Sports opportunity, Survivor Pool, and then check the website where we'll go into a little more detail about those things in the opening drive. Okay, guys, have a great day. Have a great kickoff to your September work week. And as we always say around here, for Brad and I, go Browns.